You're listening to The Sizzle on Iron Skillet Radio and Iron Skillet Television.
You know what it is. You know who it is. It's The Sizzle. Guess what, everybody? It's the holiday edition. It's the pre-Thanksgiving edition. This is the best talk in the 219. It's the hottest talk. You know who's in the building. I'm G Sizzle. He's J Sizzle.
Yeah.
Guess what, Jay? Are you ready for Turkey Day?
Man, I'm ready for Turkey Day and all the fixings. You know what I'm saying? Deep fried turkey, slow fried turkey, no fried turkey. It don't make a difference to me as long as we got some turkey. I'm good to go.
Turkey, turkey, turkey. Gobble, gobble,
Gobble,
gobble.
gobble, gobble.
Well, let's get into it. Let's talk about it real quick.
Yeah.
Because we got to talk about a lot of stuff going on. So let's talk about what's going to happen on Turkey Day, because it's a lot of gobble, but not a lot of fobble.
Wow, bro.
So, okay, I'll make it make sense in a second.
Oh, terrible.
No, yeah, it was. That was terrible. It was terrible. The players for the Steelers, man, they all kind of they're a little upset, you know.
Yeah.
Little Juju and little Claypool, they all like, man, you know, the NFL suck because they done moved our game, man, just because some people can't handle the COVID in their building. So why we got to not play?
They weren't going to have no players to play, man. I mean, they better move to Monday. Do they
Can
not
you
know?
explain to these kids how this kind of works, Jay?
Do they not know who they're playing? They are playing the Steelers, who have not lost a football game. And you have the Ravens, who look like they don't know how to play football. So they need all the help they can get. Their offensive line is in shambles. They're going to have ICU beds rolled out there. All types of stuff is going to be going on. This COVID-19 that took all types of toll on them. Look, man, they don't look as bad as the Bears, but they look bad.
Well, you know, it's just the fact that for the Steelers players who are upset that they've been rescheduled, you have to think and put it in mind, you can't play another team if there are no players on the other team. I mean, if there's nobody there, if everybody has the COVID, who are you going to play against? You're just going to come out there Thursday because it's a primetime game. You want to get some turducken, and now you mad because you can't get in some.
Well, here's the biggest problem too, right? The key to this is not to play the football game. It's not to spread the COVID-19. So you can't have people who are out there who got the COVID running around breathing on everybody else. What? We're just going to play the game and nobody's going to breathe on each other? I mean, let's get realistic. Are they missing money? Are their teams not paying them? That's what I'm saying. Oh, what's the issue? You act like you didn't get paid also. So you're going to get paid. You know what I'm saying? It's amazing.
I think that somebody said, you know, if you don't play on Thursday, you don't get your turkey bonus money.
Look, let me say something. The Ravens going to get turkey basted, blasted by the Steelers anyway. So I don't know. They need them extra couple of days. I mean, 3 extra days is going to help them out a lot because this is going to be ugly. There's no doubt about that.
Well, you know what's funny? In our fantasy league, it's been a horrific league.
Oh.
And shout out to our commissioner for stellar job he's been doing in making sure that our teams have been COVIDed, and it is horrific. But I traded Lamar Jackson, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, you crazy? Why would you do that?"
Now we know.
Well, now you know. Now just look at it and see what's going on. Now you know.
But is this the year of the COVID quarterback? You know, because these offensive line, I mean, the team, the part of an offense that gets affected the most, that affects the whole offense, is the offensive line. And if you got guys who are getting COVID on the offensive line, also you're inserting somebody else in there, that makes a big difference. And you're starting to see quarterbacks out here who looked pretty good the last couple of years, and now they're starting to look terrible. The scrambling quarterbacks, but not Lamar Jackson, have been looking pretty well because they're able to be on the move all the time. You can move the pocket around. But quarterbacks who sit in the pocket, but now I take it back. Now, Ben Roethlisberger, they've been playing real well, but they haven't really been COVID bitten up there. So it's been an interesting year. You see Tom Brady, who's he throwing the ball to lately? He's just chucking it up there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Just throwing it like, here you go, take it with you.
He's channeling his own inner Mitchell Trubisky sometimes because he missed some straight throws right down. All he had to do is put the ball on the sidelines, and he's throwing it 5 yards out of bounds. I don't know. Is this just 42-year-old Tom, or is this just a situation that he don't know where these guys are going to be at, and he's just slinging it down there?
I don't know. I don't know because I would think that Tom would have a really good idea,
Well, I hope so.
but I obviously something's going wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know. And Tom is not even talking to the nice little quarterbacks who beat him. Now they want to come over and shake his hand, and Tom is like, "Get away from me, you peasant."
Tom's a little ticky right now. I don't know what's going on. Somebody that whizzed in his Cheerios right now because he's not a happy camper. But Bruce Arians has been giving him the business lately. Like he said the other night, if we have people open, we got to get the ball to them. And basically, that's a shot at Tom. Like, here, old folks, throw the football to the guys in our team jersey, not in the other jersey, because there's 2 interceptions he threw right to guys. And those out patterns he's been throwing right to guys too. So I don't know if Tom's just being confused or is Tom just being a little COVID confused and not sure what's going on out there. I'm not sure what's happening.
Man, he's 40. He is
42.
40.
Ain't he 42?
40. He's 40 something.
Yeah, something like that.
Old. I mean, every once in a while, like you get home and because you can't even be really happy at home because this isn't even really your house.
Wow.
This is like the Derek Jeter Palace. And like you find, like you're at a couch somewhere and you find a signed autograph of Derek Jeter's name on a pair of Speedos.
Wow.
And they really could affect how you're playing.
Wow. Be careful there.
I'm just saying.
He's trying to explain these other undies that are not Giselle to Giselle. Like, no, they're really, who used to stay here. It was not me, Giselle. Like, okay.
It was Derek. I don't know where. Look, I don't know why there are a pair of drawers in the cereal box.
Well, he could always say the J-Lo's. Even though they ain't together no more, but I'd use that excuse.
Can Tom use that?
Well, look, when you're renting somebody else's house or you're hanging out at somebody's house, they never take all of their stuff out of there. You know what I'm saying? So there's some.
Unless you're Prince. Now, Prince will take all your stuff out. Prince took all of Carlos Booza's stuff and just took it out.
Oh, what'd he do with it?
He took it and put it in the storage, and then he painted his house purple.
Wow, it happens.
And then Carlos Booza gets mad. Like, dude, it was Prince. Okay.
So did he buy Carlos Booza's house, or was he renting it?
He just rented it
an
for an exorbitant amount.
That's bogus.
But he had it redone. I mean, when Carlos Booza came back, it looked just like it had.
He redid it.
Left.
Man, that's nice coins to be able to do it like that.
I mean, that is fly when you got a person who comes in and puts purple carpeting down and purple walls, and and you're like, I don't even know whose house this is, and you're like, it's yours.
He was confused when he pulled up. He's like, "Is this my house?"
You're like, wait. Maybe I pulled in the wrong one. Hold on. Let me GPS this thing and see where I am because I think I'm at the wrong house.
He had a member of the revolution meet him at the front door with some pancakes.
Blouses.
Still one of the best all-time funniest sketches of all time right there.
Yo, did you hear that Dave Chappelle
has
requested that Netflix pulls all of the Chappelle shows from Netflix?
Wow. Are they not paying Dave, or is Dave just having a moment?
I don't know. Maybe Dave is like, maybe he signed a no competition clause. Maybe he said, I will not compete with myself for myself and my own service.
Well, he said one time in an interview, he says, you're the one who clicked. No, it was a comedy special. He said, you're the one that clicked on my face to watch it. So he knows they have it out there. But Dave's a special type of guy. Dave comes out here, gets his pocket full of money, talks about Juicy Smollett for a minute, and then Smolier, and then he goes back into hiding because he makes enough coins. I mean, it's nice to be able to do it. That Juicy Smolier.
You know what? Have you ever thought about the fact that now that's his new nickname in these streets is dude. Juicy?
That was one of the funniest things I ever heard, man. What he said.
Ever. Out of all the stand-up comedies. And I know somebody's going to say, it can't be the funniest. No, that was hilarious. That was in the pantheon of Richard Pryor, Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
That was up there. That is.
Because he was just letting everybody have it too. You know what I'm saying?
Everybody.
He was just unloading both barrels. Like, I'm only going to be here for a little while, so let me get all this out and I'm going back. You know what I'm saying?
Everybody got it. It was ridiculous. Yeah. But let's talk about it. So, Ravens Steelers.
Yeah.
They're postponed. Great. I mean, the less spreading you can have, I'm fine with that. But what I'm not fine with is quarterbacks going down all over the league. Even with our own good beloved, we've got quarterbacks going down everywhere.
I know, man.
But you know who's not getting the call?
Oh,
one Colin Kaepernick.
What?
He has not gotten the call yet.
I don't think he's gonna get a call. Tell you the truth, I don't know. I think he just comes with a little bit too much baggage. They don't want. They look at the cost analysis when you're bringing in a player. Like, what is this player going to cost me, publicity wise? What type of is this player going to actually bring people to watch the games? All these type of things, all these analytics go into it. And I think he would cause people to watch the games, but also is it going to cost them on the other end? And maybe they don't want the media scrutiny. That's why you see a Colin Kaepernick not getting a shot to back up anywhere. But here's the question: does Colin Kaepernick even want to take a shot to be a backup in the NFL? That's the question.
It's funny. Those who are listening, if you're a faithful listener, you've heard our discussion about Colin Kaepernick. In fact, go back to some of the first podcasts and go back to some of our first broadcasts. I mean, that was a big topic. On the radio, we talked about it several times, and we had banter back and forth. But I was brought over to your side of thinking. I was won over by your argument that said, I don't know if this is really what it sounds like a good thing. Mm-hmm. And it sounds like this is what Colin wants to do.
Right.
But I don't know if this is really I don't know if he's still about that life of actually getting out there and playing.
Well, and
now you're good as an activist, but I don't know if you really want to play now.
Right. Do you want to play football, or do you want to be an activist playing football? Because I don't know. I'm sure you could take a stand. Don't get it wrong now. But playing football is in the NFL is a 24-hour, 7 days a week occupation. This is where you got to be first man in, last man out. We all football all the time. That's what these guys do. Can you do that and also not be as involved in the social justice side of things? Because that's also very inclusive, especially now what's going on with the transition that's happening. So you wonder, would Colin Kaepernick, would he have taken any job in the NFL? You know what I'm saying? Anywhere. Mm-hmm. And that's the question right now. Or did they say, hey, he had to have a starting position or be able to come in and compete for a starting position? That's possible. So I'm not really sure. I can't be in Colin Kaepernick's head. I think he was very brave of him to do what he did. He probably definitely cost himself 2 or 3 more NFL years as a backup or floating around somewhere, at least getting a shot. But he was brave about what he did. But I think ultimately on the bottom line of it is, I don't think the cost analysis part of this is that the NFL owners don't want to deal with Colin Kaepernick coming in because they know what type of scrutiny it's going to bring in. And right now, when they're not making any money, and they've decided if we're not making money, then nobody else is going to cost us some money. And that's why you see Colin Kaepernick still sitting on the sidelines.
It's funny when we talk about return of investment. I think he brings back, and you've seen what he can bring back through Nike ads, what he's done just sponsorship wise.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if we're talking about just the love of the game, because if you just love the game, you go to Canada. You follow in Warren Moon's footsteps.
Yeah.
You follow in all of those other great quarterbacks who went to Canada, Doug Flutie, some other guys, even Henry Burris, who's now with the Bears as in an intern program. You would go there and play if it was just about the playing. But I'm beginning to believe this is not just about being able to get on the field. This is more of a stance, and it's an issue. And it's funny, somebody re-racked the interview that Jay-Z did at the beginning of him being named public service, social equity manager. I don't know.
Yeah.
The entertainment guru.
Okay.
And as I listened to Jay-Z, I remembered thinking something that Talib Kweli said, and that is that rappers are not good leaders. They're just not the right person you want in the forefront of the camera. Mm-hmm. They're good MCs. They're good wordsmiths. They're not good leaders. And the statement that we've moved past kneeling, okay, if you've moved past kneeling, what have you moved past kneeling to?
Right.
And that was always the vacuum. That was that question in this space. What have you actually moved past it to? Because what was actually answered from the whole proposition that we're kneeling for social justice.
Right.
Prison reform, criminal reform, and after Colin Kaepernick's stance, even more people have been killed. They're the Breonna Taylors of the world. They are those who have suffered great injustices. And it's still, nothing's been answered. Nothing has been solved or resolved. But what we can see, what has been resolved, is that the owners, and all except, I think, 2 in the NFL, are all non-melanated people. And I see that they see that in no way, shape, or form that Colin Kaepernick is coming back as a starting NFL quarterback.
Yeah, well, here's the thing about it. I think what Colin Kaepernick was able to do was to bring a problem of social justice that's always been boiling up underneath the surface to the surface in an explosion. And this is what we saw with the Black Lives Matter movement. We saw what was going on recently all around the country. We've also seen the division between Democrats and Republicans. This is probably the most divided time in modern times in the United States, pre-1960s. At this point in time, people have really taken up bunkers on both sides, and they won't even really listen to each other. So, and beyond all that, we're all Americans. But however, Colin Kaepernick was able to get these things addressed. We would not see the social unrest that we saw today had it not been for Colin Kaepernick taking a knee. We also saw that there were many people who took that stance and they reverted into something else. I don't know, reverted is right. I don't know where that word came from. But it was, he made it into a lot of people took what Colin Kaepernick did and they turned it into a negative. They tried to say, well, it was against the troops or it was against the United States flag or anything else like that. And that never was it. That was never the narrative. But it got twisted and people started to believe that he was against the troops and he was against the flag. Even when you had troops coming out saying that no, Colin Kaepernick was not against the flags. He even had discussions with troops on how he should be able to protest that would not be negative toward the troops and negative toward the flags. He's just saying, hey, this flag that's flying, I'm not going to stand for it because I'm not included in what the flag stands for. So it wasn't against the flag. He's just saying, I want to be also included. And it's also, but it got twisted. So, but I think we needed that twist in the United States. We needed that situation to happen here in the United States to bring these things above head. So now we can really see what people are really thinking. And a lot of that, it's not about whether you're a Republican or a Democrat. A lot of it has to see, are you a closet racist? You know, and then some people say, well, no, I'm not a racist because I have black friends. But if you're not standing up for what's going on against these other people, then inherently you're sort of going along with what's happening to these people. I just had a conversation the other day where a lady about my age, a little bit older than me, she says, I just wanted it to go back to the times where it used to be. And, you know, like it was in the 1950s and the 1960s. And I looked at her.
And what does that mean?
And I looked at her and said, you mean the time when black people had to ride the back of the bus? You want to go back to those times? You know, where we had to drink out of separate water fountains. You want to go back to those times? Because those times were good for you, but they weren't good for our people. And so I think a lot of times people are upset, especially in the sporting world. All I want to do was come on here and watch a football game. All I want to do was come on here and watch a baseball game. Why all of a sudden do I have to see people kneeling down? Why do I have to see people Black Lives Matter t-shirts on? The reason why is because you saw some things that were going on around you and you never said anything about it. And you sort of just brush it under the rug. And so these things, what's done in the dark eventually is going to come into the light. And this is the reason why Black Lives Matter is so important. It's not a situation, not talking about Antifa or anything else like that, because that's how other people want to lump Black Lives Matter and Antifa in together. Those two situations are not together. You know what I'm saying? So the whole thing is that because of Colin Kaepernick, we're having these discussions. And I hope a lot of people, if you are watching this, whether you're black, white, doesn't make a difference, Asian, not, whatever you are, it's not a situation where we should be divided. This situation should make us more together as a country, because finally now some things are being addressed that needed to be addressed that are always were swept under the rug.
True. And I appreciate those who are advocating for Colin Kaepernick and making sure that his stance has been well documented. But the biggest thing has always been the oops part on the NFL. The NFL could have nipped this in the bud easily by just not showing the protest, not making other ways and going about it or addressing it. Just go to it, address it specifically.
They tried to suppress it. They tried to suppress it because their ownership was pushing it down, right? And they were trying to suppress it, and then all of a sudden it exploded out of the pot. All of a sudden, the top
Right.
came off of it, and now all of a sudden, now that's where you saw Roger Goodell with a black T-shirt on. He might as well had a Black Lives Matter T-shirt talking about, well, I was wrong about Colin Kaepernick. Should never did. Well, of course now, because the cat's out the bag now. You know what I'm saying? And now it's hurting your bottom line. And that's why also you see everybody starting to acquiesce back, coming back to the middle. Where beforehand, it's against the troops, against our people, all the blah, blah. Now they start moving back to the center of it again. So when the money starts drying up, that's when you see people starting to fess up. And that's what you saw with the NFL. Now, the problem is with all of this, I'm just hoping that it just doesn't die. You know, and that the movement, once we start getting some movement that other way, maybe we start getting some more other people into ownership. We actually did see for the first time an all-black NFL crew the other night. The other night, reffing a football game. Amazing. There was a time when there were no black referees. There were no black quarterbacks. You know, and the thing about that, my whole thing is that I hope we get to one point in time where there doesn't have to be a mention that there's an all-black referee and official group out there in the NFL. We could just say they are NFL officials. And that's one day I'm hoping that we can get to, that these quarterbacks out here who are black quarterbacks one day will just be a quarterback. And I think I want to, that's where I want to get to with all of this. Hopefully one day we'll get there. I don't know if we'll get there during my lifetime, but we have to have these changes like this for our future of our children and our children's children, so they possibly could live in equality at one point in time.
True. Very true. And what we have to do is, hopefully in our lifetime, we have to get a quarterback that's a functional quarterback for the Chicago Bears.
That was a good segue.
Thank you.
Way to get over there, SIZZLE.
Thank you. Because even when we talk about a dead franchise, we're talking about the death of the quarterback situation in Chicago this season. Yeah. You have two quarterbacks. Your top two quarterbacks are down. You have a Colin Kaepernick that's out there that's available. But no. That's not what the Bears are going to do. They're not going to bring in anyone. Because at this point, Jay, whose feelings can be hurt? Are you going to hurt Nick Foles' feelings? He's still getting paid. Look, Are you going to change Mitchell Trubisky's thought? He's still getting out of here at the end of the season.
Nick Foles went down like he got shot. It was like a sniper. He was laying on the ground talking about, I'm not playing behind this offensive line anymore. That's it. Bring out the cart. I'm done. You saw Mitchell Trubisky run one play. I'm not getting out here with this nonsense. I'm done. And poor Tyler Bray got out there and he was just slinging it. He was just he was slinging and screaming while he was throwing the football. So I don't know what they're going to end up doing. You know, they talk about who was that coming in? Kaiser? I think they were talking about Kaiser coming in.
Kaiser or Daniels. Chase Daniels.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. We've all been, and I've said it to your nephew, I've said it to my son, there's a difference between being injured and being hurt.
Oh, without doubt.
You can still go if you're hurt, but if you're injured, you can't go.
Right, go sit down.
So I don't know what it is now when it comes to Nick Foles, because Nick Foles looked like he got run over by a truck. I mean, the way the antics, when you looked at Nick Foles, it was like, ow! My neck. My back.
He was
my
down.
neck and my back.
He didn't even move his right leg. He was down. It was over. Right. Like, oh God, he dislocated his hip. Was it a Tua situation going on?
I thought he was dead for a second.
He was done.
They killed him.
They killed him. But the thing is, right now, you are talking about their NFL lives out here. And if I'm going to keep cashing paychecks, I can't keep getting blasted. I mean, you saw what happened to Joe Burrow up there. It wasn't his fault. But, I mean, they literally tore his leg off.
Can we talk about that for just a second?
I can't. Yeah.
I don't want to see it again.
I didn't watch it. I can't watch that stuff.
My prayers to Joe Burrow, his family, and to Cincinnati, because you had a good thing going. He was going to break every record they had, every rookie record, and to be injured in the manner. And it was a fluke play.
Yeah.
If you watch the replay, his lineman drove the end back into him.
It's just bad.
Dude, when you tear your MCL, ACL, and have structural damage,
you're all jacked
Cincinnati fans, let me say this to you. Get used to there being another bad year. You'll get a really good draft pick this year and then one next year, because you won't see Joe Burrow again to probably 2022.
Oh, no, it's going to be 2023.
Yeah. Could be.
Because they got to wait for all that swelling to go down. Number one, I am the man with the knees. I can tell you every knee surgery there, because I've had about every one of them. I've had about, how many knee surgeries I have now? Maybe 10 or 11, something like that. Something crazy. I've had about 10 knee surgeries. So the whole thing about it is that first with that, I think the ACL, the MCL, the leg has to be straight. And then all the swelling has to go down. And then you have to bend the next one. So you have to bend the next one. You have to be in the cast where he's sitting down so that ligament can bend. So you have two separate surgeries that have to happen there. Then you got to put everything back together again. Now it's got to heal. So you're going well into a year. And now you're talking about, now you got all that atrophy that's going to happen to that leg. Or it's going to lose all the muscles in that. So now that's got to come back. And then he's got to get it out of his head that he's actually playing in a football game, that he's going to get hit again. So it's possible.
And we didn't even talk about the fact that there's structural damage.
Yeah.
I mean, it's enough to have the MCL and the ACL. So now I'm thinking there was a break in the kneecap.
Oh.
There was a bone, maybe a femur damage.
Yeah, I mean, I tore a tendon on my kneecap. I had ACL. I had the interior cruciate ligaments all torn at the same time. Mm-hmm. So, and I got complete knee replacements right now. But the whole thing is that it's each and every one of those things, it takes time to come back from. I'm wondering,
is this the last we've seen of Joe Burrow?
No, I don't know, because it's the last you've seen of Joe Burrow. I just don't think you're going to see him in 2022. I think he's going to be at the end of his rookie contract. And here's the problem. They're on these rookie deals, and they're making decent money, but not the money they could be making. But you understand why football players get the money that they're paid, because it takes one play, and your whole year, your whole season, maybe your whole career is over with. So now, I mean, and has Joe Burrow have enough money in the bank? Is he going to keep making McDonald's commercials? I don't know if he's making any McDonald's commercials.
Well, he was one of those rookies that said he wasn't going to tap into his NFL money. He was actually living off endorsement money this year.
So now whatever he was buying or doing, he's got to scale that way back, because this money might be the last money that he's going to get, because this is going to be right to the end of his rookie contract. Then once his rookie contract comes around, are they going to re-sign Joe Burrow? Because he might be a medical situation where they come up and they're going to give him amount of money, or his insurance kicks in, and that'll be it.
Right.
We just never know what's going to happen.
So that's why I'm asking, could this be the end, maybe not the end of the NFL career, but the end of him in Bengals uniform? And we're not saying that it's going to go wrong. I'm not saying that and implying that at all. I'm saying worst case scenario is he has problems, Alex Smith problems, where you have an infection that's happened.
Congratulations
and now
to Alex Smith, though, for coming back after
kudos.
all that. Yeah.
Man, you get mad props from me for coming back out, having the heart and the perseverance just to keep going.
Yeah, without doubt.
Yeah, so big shout out to him. But, we've got, again, when it comes to the Bears, you've got some achy breaky quarterbacks out here.
Me not going to play. I'm not going out there.
Yeah, I see Mitch was like, I'll run this one play. It's a wrap. Nick was just like, I'm on the ground, not getting up. And even when they were like, can you walk? He was like, I can, but I'm not.
Dude, they're about to break out the wing tee. They might be go 1970 Oklahoma. You know what I'm saying? With Jarvis Red Wine and everybody. They just going to come out in the wishbone. And, with Overstreet and everybody in the backfield. And we just going to come out and run the wishbone.
So I guess I owe you a steak dinner, because if your prognostication comes correct and it comes to fruition, the Bears may not win another game this season.
Ofer, you heard it here first. Jay Sizzle, Nostradamus said it first right here.
The only game I could see they may have a chance in is that Jaguars game. And maybe by then Gardner Minshew will be back, and then you probably don't have a chance again, because you need offense. I mean, defense is great. I'm saying the Bears are one or two plays away, or one or two bad things away from happening, from you probably seeing Akeem Hicks shut it down for the year.
Absolutely right. God forbid.
Khalil Mack shut it down for the year.
One of these linebackers starting to go down, because they've been actually playing pretty well. You lose one of these corners out here. Right. Yeah. You lose one of these corners out here. You lose Fuller. At least Fuller's going to come up and hit you. Johnson will cover you. He ain't going to tackle you, but he's going to cover you. There's no doubt about that. But
it's really tenuous, because they're light with their backup. So
Yeah,
if one
like
of their
anybody, yeah.
main 11 goes down, it's going to be, you saw what happened with Minnesota. The minute Akeem Hicks went out the game, they were just running it right up the A and the B gap.
But see, this is why I don't understand why the NFL for this year did not expand these rosters on fields suited up in uniforms up to like 62. Put 9 more players out on the field. You know, make a backup, some more defensive linemen, more offensive linemen, just in case guys get hit with the COVID. It's not enough for a guy to be on the practice squad. He needs to be out there with the team, doing everything else that they're doing. I mean, I'm sure the practice squad guys do it also, but it's a difference about going, traveling, being in all the meetings and all that type of stuff. And they should have just, and plus it gives guys an opportunity to rotate. And so now you're not, because I'm going to tell you what now, because of all these guys getting nicked up in COVID and everything else like that, not playing, you got guys playing bigger minutes right now, and every snap you take is an opportunity to get hurt. And so it'd be nice to be rotating these guys, at least so they can make it to the end of the season, because I'm amazed they went this far. But as this COVID hits up right now, you know, when we start, what is this playoffs going to look like? It's going to be a truncated playoffs. I mean, we're going to take the top two teams out of each division and just go ahead and put everybody in the Superdome. What the Superdome? Lord, where'd they come from? Put everybody down there down in Texas, down in Dallas, and just play in the dome down there and down in Arlington, and just play. Everybody get together, because I don't know how you're going to do a full playoffs with this COVID kicking up.
And another thing, NBA, take note of what the NFL is doing and make sure you don't do the same thing. I know everybody's in a rush. The owners want to get their money in.
Yeah,
that's why everybody's pushing this December start. Look, LeBron, take your time, baby.
Yeah,
take your time.
They need to let this,
don't try to rush it.
Yeah, they need to let this vaccine, you know, the vaccine won't be out, but they need to let this thing off into January, so you run again late next year. You know what I'm saying? But you do have all these guys coming back right after the season's over. We got LeBron and them all coming right back without rest. And now you're talking about a full 82. I don't know.
You know, that's funny because everybody's pushing the delete 8. They haven't played in a while, in 8 months. And then you think, what about those ones who have just played? The Jimmy Butlers, LeBron James, the Aaron, the Anthony Davises, all of those guys who were there. Even the Aaron Holiday, all those older players, and you're looking now, because we know we're getting ready to start up our fantasy basketball league.
Yeah.
So you got to be, if you are serious about basketball, you're going to sign up for the SIZZLE Fantasy Basketball League.
Good time. Right.
We always have a good time. And you've got to think now, when you want to make some deals, do I pick up an Anthony Davis? Do I go and get LeBron James? Do I get one of these players, Jimmy Butler, who's logged in heavy minutes? Because for the beginning of your season, they may not play heavy minutes.
Oh no, I think they're going to be on a strict minutes assignment, minutes, and you're going to see guys missing games, a la Kawhi Leonard. I mean, you talking about weeks. You might see LeBron shut it down for a week, and not go out and play 3 or 4 games.
Last season, I had one of the fantasy teams. I had Kawhi and Paul George.
Oh, wow.
I don't know how I was able to draft both of them. It was the worst thing ever, because you had them taking stretches off. Yeah, when they were in the game, they were great and gave you points, but they were gone or missing or gone, and you're just like, I can't live like this.
Did we get fooled with Paul George? You think so? I mean, is it big?
Oh, yeah.
Is Paul George just a star, not a superstar?
I think Paul George is just, if he keeps going the way he's going to just be a guy.
Wow. Do you think him breaking his leg made him a bigger household name than what he should have been? Or what, you know, because we saw him just go.
Question.
My question is, you saw a guy, it wasn't just because he just didn't want to be in the bubble. You know what I'm saying? Was that it? Right. And he just didn't want to be down there, so he just sort of shut it down mentally? Or was this a situation that it was a little bit too much pressure being the man, and all of a sudden you saw him going over in the 4 quarters, which I was amazed by that.
I think we tend to negate how much mental health plays a role in all of these players' lives. That Clippers team. Okay, let's do a juxtaposition. Lakers, Clippers.
Ooh, that was a big word.
Thank you. And that's not a SIZZLE term.
No.
Lakers led by LeBron
Yeah.
were focused, dialed in. You had a leader. As long as he was healthy, he was going to demand that you did. And then his second in command capitulated and followed suit.
Yeah.
Anthony Davis was hurt. The last maybe 10 games he played in the bubble, he was hurt.
There was a couple of times Anthony Davis came down that ankle, and I said, "Oh, that's over with." And he walked it off, went right back out there. And I think it was 2 or 3 times that he did it. And I thought I was holding on to my ankle. When he was rolling around the floor, I was rolling around on the floor. And he got back up and went back out and played. I mean, so he toughed it out. You can't never say anything about Anthony Davis' toughness. But a lot of that thing has to do with that leadership. Like you said, with LeBron James, with Magic up top. We know what type of ball player Magic is. And that's sort of that idea of being tough and being a champion trickles down. And I think that's what you saw with the Lakers. You saw a Rondo playing above his head. I mean, Rondo was playing great. You saw a couple other people playing on that team that was playing fantastic. Now you wait to see, can these guys still do the same thing? Because Rondo signed elsewhere. So you see, can these guys still go do it again?
Atlanta, KCP. You know, you had a lot of guys who were playing above their pay grade.
Yeah.
But then on the other side, you had the Clippers. And I love you, Doc. Chicago's own, but I don't think you have instilled in your teams that mentality, that winning mentality,
that dog mentality,
that dog. And you can't teach dog. Now that's one thing, you know, you can't teach dog. You learn that online.
Yeah.
Either you are the dog or you ain't the dog. Either you the bros, you ain't the bros.
Right.
You can't teach heart.
And
you can't teach
determination. And you got to be that before you get there. You know what I'm saying? You got to have some of that already.
You have to have that walking into the door because automatically you got to stand on your one.
Yep.
So you got to stand on your square and say, I'm going to man up and this is what we're going to do.
Absolutely
and what you saw the Clippers do was they got off their square. They weren't standing up. They weren't taking it seriously because they were saying, hey, we want to go home. That's where I'm talking about mental strength.
They folded up like a cheap lawn chair. They ain't know, you know what I'm saying? And when you're a big fella sitting around 400 pounds, I can spot a cheap lawn chair a mile away.
A mile away.
Because they done got me before, but you won't get me again. And I'm telling you, we saw that with that team. Those guys just didn't want to be there. They just didn't want to be there. And I never saw that in a championship level team that did not fight in the fourth quarter. I mean, ridiculous. Just did not fight in the fourth quarter. That was absolutely amazing to me. I mean, and that's got to live. They make so much money that it doesn't matter, I guess. But that would be a hard thing to live down with somebody just snickering, going to my, those guys gave up in the fourth quarter. Because where did Kawhi go?
They all went bye-bye, and everybody was hurt.
Yeah.
You had the Clippers, the Bucks, and the Rockets. 3 teams that I think folded and just went home and said, I'm done.
You saw James Harden and them jumping up out of there to run up out of there, you know, and you wonder where he's going to end up going. That's going to be interesting right there to see where those guys are going to go.
And if I were Houston, I wouldn't trade him at all. I'm not trading you. Not unless I have to.
Right. But the question is now, what are you going to do with these other ball clubs to be able to combat the Lakers who've gotten better?
Right.
Who've gotten better. Right. I don't know how you get better, but they got better. And now you got a situation where you got the Warriors who are not going to be able to compete. I mean, they're going to make the playoffs, but they're going to limp into the playoffs unless they get some heat coming in, or Nico Mannion all of a sudden becomes Klay Thompson. You know what I'm saying? Because that's going to be a problem.
Do you make a move to try and bring in not an all-star, but a third star or a supplemental star? Do you reach out to the Bulls for Zach LaVine?
Yeah, you can get him. But for what? You know, the question, but for who? Because now
don't they have another first-round pick next? They have somebody's unprotected first-round pick.
Yeah, but see,
year.
The problem is with these first-round picks is that unless you're picking high enough to get up into the lottery, it's not going to really make a difference. Unless you're the Bulls, you just take somebody who we just don't even know who that is. You know what I'm saying? But unless you're in the lottery or something like that, those lower level picks, unless they come to a really good team, sometimes those guys wash out.
You know, it's funny. Somebody leaked Patrick Williams tape, and I will say it had to be leaked. It wasn't somebody was just not like, hey, guess what? I've got a Patrick Williams workout tape.
Yeah.
The kid looks good. I can't
Yeah.
in non-competition, he looks like everything in your mind you would want him to be.
Look,
but he yet to really play against an NBA competition.
I'm hoping he's Scottie Pippen. I really am. I'm hoping he is Scottie Pippen. I hope, I'm just hoping that. My biggest thing with that pick was that you could have got him and brought in some help.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
There are plenty of people who want to move up to
13.
that fourth spot. Plenty of people who would like to have gotten up to that fourth spot. Maybe got that OB top, even though we did see him fall a little bit more.
What do you think about OB going to New York? I know he's a New York kid, but was that a good move?
Not for him. I don't think so, because I think that Knicks team is going to be not that good for a long time.
Yeah, I don't know if that's what Tom really wants. I don't know if you want a dude who's not. Now, here's the funny part. If you're talking about a Patrick Williams, he would be great in a Tom Thibodeau system.
But see, my whole thing about this, I really didn't know that much about Patrick Williams, to tell you the honest truth. I mean,
nobody did.
When he was coming, I knew he was, coming up. Draft stock was moving up. He was 12th, 13th, and kept moving up. I'm like, oh well, look, saw a couple of lines about him, but that was it. But I'm like, is this a guy? That you want to put all your chips in? But maybe the Bulls are like saying, hey, this is a guy who's going to be a sixth man off the bench, seventh man off the bench, and we haven't got our franchise player yet. Maybe we're going to get him next year.
Going to be off the bench. I think by 2021 coming up, I think by next season, he's going to be the unquestioned starter at the 3.
But my question is this, maybe the Bulls, and maybe I'm trying to give them some type of, they got a plan. Maybe they're trying to shore up a 6th, 7th man option right now. We got a really great guy coming up off the bench, and we've targeted some other players coming up in these next couple of drafts that are really going to be our guys that we think they're going to really take us over the top. Or we're going to put together some trades and make something happen here. Because right now, the Bulls look the same as they looked last year. And, and they're going to be back picking 7th or 8th again next year, unless something else happens. But, I don't know if we got time here in Chicago just to keep sitting by and waiting, because now Chicago really basically is Cleveland, the bad Cleveland.
Yeah, because right now you're talking about it's funny how you want to put labels on everybody now. Oh, we're positionless basketball. Yeah. Okay, you might be positionless, but let me tell you 2 things that never change in basketball. Height at the center position, height and skill, and then distribution at the point guard.
Well,
position is most important.
We saw what the Lakers did. When you got 2 bigs in a Dwight Howard and an AD who were just bigger and taller than you, they put those guys on the floor at the same time, and they were problems for everybody else they played. They wore you down. You had a Dwight Howard pre-back problem Dwight Howard who was playing out of his mind. That Dwight Howard was scary. I don't know where he's been for the last 4 years, but that Dwight Howard was scary right there. And so now you're looking at a situation where these bigs, look, Golden State took Weissman. I know why they took Weissman, because now they saw what AD could do. They saw what a Dwight Howard could do. They saw what a big, a Djokovic can do to you, the Joker, what they can do to you when
Hassan Whiteside. Right. You see what a good big can do.
Right, and this guy is a talented big, a very talented big. And so now you might see the Golden State Warriors start to dumping the ball down inside and start taking on these small ball teams, a la the Houston Rockets and those teams like that, who weren't playing anybody over 6'7". So, I mean, once you go one way too far, you come back the other way again, and all of a sudden maybe you're going to start seeing the big man starting to play again in the NBA.
I think it's going to be a renaissance. And what's funny when we talk about the Bulls is with Patrick Williams, you're going to see a Patrick Williams. They have different body styles, but a Patrick Williams who's not that much smaller than your starting center right now, which I think this year, I think what the Bulls are going to actually do is take a year to evaluate everything they have on the table.
Yeah.
You're going to see what Laurie really is. You're going to see what Wendell Carter is. You're going to see if Zach and Kobe can play together. And hopefully, by God, you're going to try and get rid of Thaddeus and Otto. And because they should go someplace. They're veteran players who should get a chance to help a contender.
It's not their fault that they came to the Bulls that just wasn't ready to compete. You know, and it's not Zach LaVine's fault right now. This is a guy, look, he couldn't even make the All-Star team in his own city. You know, whose fault
Can't
is
get
that?
a call.
Can't get a
nothing.
You know what I'm saying? He should have been a shoe-in to make that team, but you just didn't feature him enough in this offense to get him going like you needed to, because he's the guy who's taking jump shots, who's taking three-pointers out there. Zach LaVine is not the guy you want pulling up for you. You know, so
they told him to they took away his whole mid-range game.
Yeah.
They told him, you can't. No, we want you taking long threes or driving the hole.
Yeah, and it's ridiculous, but the Bulls don't have shooters like that. And that's why, and look, all those little middies, those little 17-footers, when they go in the basket, they count.
Right.
You know, those 2 points count right there. So it's better to come away from a possession with 2 points than come away from a possession with no points. And that's what you saw a lot of time with the Bulls.
Well, explain that to me, Jay. When you hear analytic people talk about the 3 is better than the 2 because you're talking about the math. My thought is, if I'm getting 2 points, now, yes, if you get 2 threes, that's 6 points. 2 twos is 4 points.
Mm-hmm.
So there's always a 2-point deficit.
Mm-hmm.
But to your point, if you come away with no points out of that possession, now you've gotten 2 threes and I've only gotten 2 points in 2 possessions. Now there is a 4-point deficit. Does it not make sense for a team that's not a great shooting team to start getting that 18 to 15-foot range shot and putting it a part of their arsenal?
Well, the problem is that when you're taking those 3-pointers, you're talking about teams playing an up-tempo type of game. And so you have to have, the more possessions you have, the more opportunities that you're shooting the 3-pointer, the more points you're going to score. You can't come down and run clock and then shoot 3-pointers because it's not a high enough percentage shot that you're going to hit it enough times. 40%, you're shooting great if you're hitting 40 from the 3. Most of the time, you're 36, 37% from the 3. If you don't have enough possessions coming down, then you're going to be behind the 8 ball, behind the clock, behind the scoring all the time. So if you're running that type of game, you have to come down and get up shots. That's why you saw the Houston Rockets and other teams like that coming down and just firing the ball up. I mean, with 14 seconds, 15 seconds left in the shot clock, they're letting a contested 3-pointer go up because it's all about how many shots you can get up so that you can score. When you're going to run, you'll shoot those midi games and stuff like that. It's because now you're running a more possession type of offense. You're burning clock and you're taking a shot that's a more high percentage shot. So you're going to try to burn more clock. So right in the NBA game today, you see these scores. Look, guys are scoring 120 points a game. Teams are scoring 120 points a game, and nobody's not even saying anything about it. They're like, the game was 124 to 113. Okay, next to you, Joe. How about that highlight? It's like 124 points, 120 points scored. That never used to happen. Remember with the Bulls, their biggest thing that they had going on was I think you got a free Big Mac if they scored over 100 points. Well, they're going to go broke. They're going to go broke giving away Big Macs right now because these teams score 100 points like it's nothing.
You're not going to go broke fooling around with the Bulls because the Bulls rarely scored over 100 points.
Right. Yeah. Well, that was hopeful talk.
I know.
But
I did.
But what I'm saying to you is that
was a Debbie Downer moment.
Yeah. But there's no defense being played. It's just like the NFL. I know we're bouncing all over the place, but it's just like the NFL. You got guys out here who are catching. My son called me the other night. He texted me the other night. Dad, they just made another spectacular catch. I think it was in the Tampa Bay game, and one-handed.
One-hand catch.
No, with the super gloves. They outlawed Stickum back in the 70s. They need to start outlawing these gloves because now everything is turning toward the offensive side of the game right now. It's the same thing with basketball. It's the same thing with baseball. You get the analytics of baseball. Either you're going to strike out or we're going to hit the long ball. Nobody puts the ball in play anymore. Nobody puts the ball in play. You know what I'm saying? Right. And so the game itself is dumbed down because either you're going to strike out or you're going to hit a home run. Either we're just going to either you can't touch the quarterback, and there's no more. Remember the games back in the 70s and 80s? They were like 10-3, 10-7, 14-7. Those, but they have played great defense. You look at the Bears back in the days when we had those great linebackers. They were on crappy teams, but they played great defense. Now, guys don't want to come out. They don't want to see this anymore. So it's a sad state of affairs. But like you see right now, the mini game in the NBA is starting to go, and it's a rare thing now when you see a guy coming across, shooting a little running a little jump shot at 17.
Yeah,
the
running hook.
We had a little run. You don't see a hook anymore. Who hooks?
No, you don't see the hook. No,
you don't.
I think coaches have told them to take it out of their repertoire. I don't know why. Wendell Carter would be a perfect example of why he should have a mini. And Laurie Marketing. Laurie Marketing should have the sweetest jump hook and sky hook ever.
Just come hopping across the lane to just come over the top at about 8 feet from the rim. You know what I'm saying? Guys used to live off that shot. Now you never see that shot anymore. You know what I'm saying?
That's why it's so hard for LeBron to catch Kareem when it comes to the numbers game, because Kareem used that for 15 years right in the middle of the paint.
Yeah, and there was nobody who can contest it. You couldn't block it. You couldn't get to it. And so now you look at these guys today. It's amazing right now the way the game is gone. It's just like, but again, a lot of that has to go back to Stephen Curry. Stephen Curry changed the analytics of basketball. Say what you want to say, hate him, don't like him. He's my best guy ever. But anybody who can take one dribble across the half-court line and pull up, and it's a good shot. Look at Trae Young. All these guys out here, all these 6'1", 6'2", 6'3" guys now are shooting the long ball. You got the big shooting the long ball. So, it's just a different type of basketball, a different type of sports period right now.
And you know what? I'm thankful that we have all these things and we have this opportunity really to talk about it. I'm thankful that I have you as my brother, my partner. We're able to have this platform to talk about sports in general, everything in sports. And as we've covered it, we sprayed all over the place.
Okay.
But the one thing we haven't talked about is the game that's going to happen in that kitchen from the stove to the table. Ooh. We have not talked about that Thanksgiving game, that bird game, that chicken game, that steak game, that rib game, that jerk game, that fish game, because I know some people are doing lobsters. I know it's a lot of stuff going on. Ooh. So Jay Kevin, give me your turkey Thanksgiving. Give me your best Thanksgiving lineup that goes on that table.
Okay, look, I'm a traditional type of guy.
Yes, sir.
Give me some turkey. Give me some dressing. Give me some candy sweets. I say candy sweets now. Don't
yes, sir.
Don't slap out no baked potato, no baked sweet potato talking about, we're gonna have a baked sweet potato. No, I want some candy sweets because I'm not a diabetic, but we're gonna give diabetic a chance on Thanksgiving. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? Some greens or something like that. I'm that type of guy. I'm very traditional. Like, if you can't make dressing though, I don't want no stuffing. I want dressing. Okay, let's get that understood. All right.
Okay.
Little cranberry sauce on the side. We good to go. A little crescent roll here and there. And I'm a pound cake type of guy. I'm not really a cobbler guy. I'm not really a cobbler guy. I don't like all the juicy juice all over the place. I'm a steal and crust off the side cobbler. I'm that guy. When you come up there to the cobbler and all the crust is gone off the side, all that hard baked crust, that's me. I didn't take all that. So, what about you, G Sizzle? What kind of Thanksgiving things you gonna have going on?
Well, I'm a fancy kind of guy, so I got to have a lot of things. I got to have some things going on. So this year we're gonna do a barbecue theme. Wow. We got some brisket coming in. Ooh. We're gonna have some barbecue chicken. Mm-hmm. We're gonna have some ribs, but we've got our traditional turkey. But this turkey is going to be Cajun turkey. So we got a little jerk coming in there. Now, everybody around here, we're trying to watch carbs and make sure we're not a carbolicious family. So we're going to do a little dressing, not a lot of dressing, but a little dressing. But we've got like 4 different types of, it's all kind of cornbread down there. It's cornbread. Yeah. It's cornbread. It's all kinds of amalgamations of cornbread. But we've upped the suite game this year.
Oh.
And I'm so happy that we were able to sign on a suite contract, because around this household, suites are a bad thing. But got some pies, got some cakes, got some ice cream. I went out and saw they had these little ice cream cups. And man, I got some Kit Kat and some Cinnamon Toast Crunch individual little ice cream. Yeah.
Y'all going super non-traditional.
Yeah. Yes. This is going to be, because normally what happens is we don't do Thanksgiving big. Everybody else, our thing is always Christmas.
Yeah.
Because by that time the kids are home, everybody's here.
Yeah.
So we do Christmas big. But yeah, COVID's a little weird. So now we're doing just a small, again, social distancing.
Yeah.
We're not going to do a lot. It's going to be small family, and everybody's kind of where they are, kind of hunkered in. So it's not going to be a lot because our mothers are going to be here. So they're not going to eat a lot.
Yeah.
They'll get a half a plate. They're going to ask for 2 plates, but they're going to eat like a quarter of a plate.
Yeah, like they always do.
Yeah. And then we're probably going to be inundated with a litany of Hallmark movies. And so
are you a Hallmarky Christmassy type of movie guy? Are you going to have the Christmas music playing during Thanksgiving?
I may not, but it's a possibility that it will be.
You can't have Method Man playing, man. While you getting your
I came to bring the pain, hardcore for your brain. Let's go inside my astral plane.
Wow.
Yeah, see, that's what I'd do it in a minute. I put on some Big because, Big made it into the Hall of Fame. So I was like, I love it when you call me Big Papa.
Yeah. Throw
your turkey wing in the air if you's a true player. I'm sorry.
It happens.
But no, the one thing, no. Now, I will differ with you on this. I love pound cake. I am a pound cake guy.
A fan.
I am a fan of the pound cake, but I am a sucker for the cobbler. You give me a good cobbler. Now, I don't want I don't want one of those wet cobblers. I don't want one that looks like you just poured the stuff on top.
Yeah, you just pour peach juice on it. Like,
just here. I don't want bread and peach juice. Yeah. No, that's not what I want. I want a cobbler. I want it baked, and I want that flake, and I want that underpin where it's that gooey. Ooh, that bottom. Ooh.
Oh, so you like the crust at the bottom of the pan? The pre-baked crust. You got to throw that. You got to pre-bake that.
I am a bottom crust eater.
Oh well, okay.
Yeah. If you put some peaches on top of it, I'm a bottom crust eater. So that's where I'm going to say.
I hear you.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying that's what I've got to have that. But now thinking about it, a good pound cake though.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you what, man. I used to make German chocolate cakes from scratch, but then the fella got super lactose intolerant, so that went buttermilk in that cake that went out the door quickly though. But always a good piece of German chocolate cake was always good too.
Yeah, always good. But my thing is just so long as you have fun with the family, because Thanksgiving has changed and everything has been redeveloped. You can literally get turkey any day of the week. You can get macaroni and cheese from anywhere now. I go to churches and get me a small mac and cheese. Now, I didn't say it was a good mac and cheese. I just get a small one and I take it with me. But I think it's the ability just to be together.
And that's
just
the thing
to
about
have that time to give thanks.
And that's the thing about it. And, we got so much to be thankful for this year. I mean, it's been a crazy COVID year, and I know a lot of people out here have family members that are not going to be able to be with them because of the COVID-19. And we have some family members that have succumbed to the COVID-19. And I'm just so sorry about that if you're one of those people. But find a way still to give thanks. We still live in this great country. We still have great family around us. We still have great opportunity around us. And we'll get through this COVID-19. 2020 is one of them years. But we'll look back at it, and we got through it, and we'll be better people for it. But if you don't give opportunity to hug your family, make sure you make those phone calls, those Zoom calls, get on Google Meet, do all that type of stuff, and make sure you start contacting people. Especially call your family members. That's one thing I really want to stress out there. Definitely call your family members. Set the computer up there. You got an auntie or somebody who can't make it. You know what I'm saying? Figure out a way to set the computer up on the table so that she can watch maybe through her computer at home or through her phone, or figure something out like that so they can be part of festivities. That'll be a good thing.
Yeah. You know, we're going to leave it there because I got to get ready tomorrow. We're going to do a food giveaway drive. So, I mean, it's going to be, normally we're going to do it with the regional Delta Sigma Theta sorority. They're going to sponsor their annual Thanksgiving food drive.
All right.
So now we're doing a drive-through. So you're going to have those dinners that are going to be available. People can pick them up, just come in, come get them, drive on off. So we're going to be doing that. And that'll be from 11 to 2. So we got a lot going on.
Where's that going to be at, G-Sizzle?
That's going to be at St. Timothy Church in Gary, Indiana, right there on 25th and Grant. Anybody who knows Gary and you're close to the region, if you know someone who needs food, please feel free to bring them out to get a plate so that they have some Thanksgiving food there. It will be to go. You will have those who are coming for Thanksgiving dinner, and there will be enough volunteers there handing out social distance with masks and gloves on to hand people food and make sure that they're having a wonderful Thanksgiving and just having a chance to give back and getting an opportunity to tell the community that we're thankful for them and we're appreciative for the Lord blessing us with another year.
Yeah, and on that point too, I helped run a food pantry out in Northwest Indiana. I'm very proud of the group out there, Operation Care. Very proud of everybody who's been serving, especially through this pandemic. Please give to your local food pantries. Money goes a long way. A lot of times people want to drop off food and things like that, but $10 goes a long way. And you'd be surprised what can happen, how many people you can feed. We had cars lined up all the way back out to the street the other day, and we were giving out food. So it's important through this Thanksgiving time, not only to think about yourself being blessed, but also to be a blessing to other people. Because there's so many people out here, especially during this situation, they lost jobs, they've been laid off, not sure how they're going to make it. And so, especially your neighbors, if you got neighbors and you know they haven't been working or something like that, put a plate together, go knock on the door, social distance, you know what I'm saying? Hey, I don't know your name, but I don't know if you had food this week. I mean, I don't know if you had, but we had some extra turkey. Or we had a plate for you, or something like that. Look out for your neighbors. Go ahead, go give a plate and do some things like that, because that's when you're really giving thanks, when you're giving of yourself. Just make sure you do that out here, because it's an important thing.
Yeah, it is. It is a dire important thing. And so I'm just happy we have Thanksgiving. I'm happy that we've had this time to share together. I'm happy that we get to share with everyone. So we're going to get ready to get out of here and say happy Thanksgiving to everybody. And then we're going to hit you up with a new one. We're not going to hit you with a Thanksgiving show, but we are going to hit you Friday. It's going to be fire. We're going to be talking to James Boyd.
We got new stuff.
Oh, Mike's and Men.
You guys have been seeing it, right? Is it that way? Yeah. Right over there, Mike's and Men. It's coming up, man. Our reaction channel. Tom Foolery getting ready to go on over there. It's going to be a good time.
That's right. That's Tom Brady's little brother. He used to play for the Bucks.
Wow.
So we're going to have a lot of Tom and foolery on his channel. It's going to be hot. It's going to be hot. So, hey, man, I guess I got to get ready to get us out of here, huh?
Yeah. Well, hey, man, you always say, hey, man, enjoy, man. It's been so much a good time, man. It's weird. I'm so used to seeing you so much when we're on the radio together and everything. And I've probably seen you in the last 6 months, probably 3 times in person.
This is crazy, man.
It's just absolutely crazy.
This is crazy.
But we talk on the phone, and we talk during FaceTime like this.
Yeah. All
daily.
the time.
Yeah. So it's like I see you every day, but I don't see you. So, it's just a crazy 2020. But all you guys out there, everybody, stay safe out there, man. Wear your mask. If you got new people coming over to your house, make sure they put on a mask. You put on a mask. Hey, don't feel about like, hey, I'm imposing myself. It's better to impose yourself and stay safe than not imposing yourself and let something happen that you don't want to have happen. So, stay safe out here in this COVID-19 era.
And make sure that you're checking out the podcast. Make sure that you're clicking, liking, and subscribing to us on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. You can always find us wherever you go for your sports information, wherever you go for your talk information. Also, make sure that you check out Jay Sizzle as he was on Cross Sports.
Yeah.
And you have to hear that. Wonderful podcast. Wonderful podcast. Big shout to Rob. Big shout to everybody at Cross Sports. So look, man, we're getting ready to get out of here. I'm G Sizzle. He's Jay Sizzle. And we want to say happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see you on the other side.
Did you know that you can listen to Iron Skillet Radio on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Anchor? It's easy. Look for Iron Skillet Sports or #Skillet_sports for our latest episodes. We are Iron Skillet Sports.